You know what, guys? I have to apologize. I've been on YouTube for a year and 3 or 4 months now, and I don't think I've ever mentioned phrasal verbs. Maybe like once in passing, but I don't think I've taught you guys many phrasal verbs, maybe one or two here and there, but I haven't spent a lot of time doing it. And it's because phrasal verbs are never ending. When I tell you guys that idioms are never ending and I have a long list of idioms, phrasal verbs is like double it. You know that the video that's like fantastic, give me 14 more of them?
Spectacular. Give me 14 of them right now.
Really? That's literally how I feel about phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs, it's like never ending list. So there's so many I can choose from, and I feel like it's kind of overwhelming sometimes. So I stick to my idioms, I stick to my slang, I stick to the proverbs, the phrases, the colloquialisms. But today I'm gonna give you the top 3 phrasal verbs. In my opinion, the top 3 must-know phrasal verbs. So before we get into the video, I just want to give you guys the definition of phrasal verb and what it is, so you are not confused and everybody is on the same page. So a phrasal verb is just a combination of a verb and one or more particles, prepositions or adverbs, that together create a meaning different from the original verb. For example, give up, run into, and look after are phrasal verbs. So in other words, you need both words put together to create a phrasal verb. If you say give, it means something totally different than give up. If you say run, it means something totally different than run into. If you say look, again, it means something totally different than look after. You need both words for them to actually create a phrasal verb. Now that we know what a phrasal verb is, we are going to go over the top 3 phrasal verbs in Teacher Carley's opinion. So number 1 is break down. Break down. And breakdown just means to stop functioning or to analyze something in detail. To stop functioning or to analyze something in details. Breakdown is a phrasal verb, and then you break down that phrasal verb, and there's 2 different things, all right? So when you break down something, you can analyze it more. So let's say you have a paragraph. You know, in high school, teachers would give you a paragraph in English class, and they would say, hey, analyze this paragraph, break down the paragraph, and analyze it more and more to see what the writer, what the author is truly talking about. You analyze something. But break down also means to stop functioning. So your car can break down. Your washing machine breaks down. Your refrigerator breaks down. It means to stop functioning. Sometimes you have a breakdown. When we say I'm about to have a mental breakdown, it means mentally my brain is about to stop functioning. I'm overwhelmed. I have a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety going on in my life. I'm about to have, what do the kids call it these days? A minty bee, a mental breakdown. The words breakdown, that's a phrasal verb. And again, it just means to stop functioning, to analyze something more. Break down. So an example of this, I actually have 2 examples for you all. Example sentence numero uno, the only Spanish I know. My car broke down on the way to work. My car broke down on the way to work. This definition of breakdown means to stop functioning. The second example is, let's break down the project into smaller tasks. Let's break down the project into smaller tasks. All right, so this means to analyze something in detail. It's easier when you break down stuff typically, right? If you have like this big project that you have to do, you're looking at it and you're like, oh, where do I even start? But if you break it down into smaller tasks, you analyze it little by little, it becomes a lot easier, right? An easier task for you to tackle. You break down. That was example number 1, but I told you I got the top 3 today. Number 2, the second phrasal verb that I feel like is very important for you to know is get along. Get along. Why can't everybody just get along? Get along just means to have a good relationship with someone. To have a good relationship with someone. If you get along with someone, you have a good relationship with someone. Now, you don't have to actually have a relationship with them. You guys can just kind of know of each other. You can just be acquaintances, coworkers, friends, family, whatever. If you get along with someone, it means you ain't got no beef with them. You actually like them as a person. You get along. You enjoy their company, or you have a decent relationship or a good relationship with them. There's no turmoil. You guys have nothing against each other. You get along. For example, I get along really well with other people who are also extroverts. If you are an extroverted person, which means you're loud, you're bubbly, you always have like this kind of exciting aura to you, that's an extrovert. I get along really well with other extroverted people. However, my husband is an introvert of sorts, and my best friends are introverts as well. Two of my best friends are introverts. It's like kind of weird because I know that I get along well with extroverts. However, the people that are closest to me in my life are all introverts, but I get along with them well as well. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe I just get along with most people. But get along just means you have a good relationship. So an example sentence, I get along well with my coworkers, which makes the job much more enjoyable. I get along well with my coworkers, which makes the job much more enjoyable. Get along. Again, get along. Phrasal verb, get means nothing by itself. Well, it means something, but it doesn't mean what you think it's going to mean. So you have to add the word along to make it the phrasal verb, which means to have a good relationship with someone. Get along. The third and final one for today, which I know it's a little bit of a shorter video, but phrasal verbs, man. You have to break down the list of phrasal verbs. See what I did there? Because there's so many out there, I have to just do a few at a time. The last one is look after. That means to take care of someone or something. To take care of someone or something. When you look after someone or something, you are taking care of them. You can look after someone's dog. Somebody's going out of town. They're like, hey, I'm going out of town. I need you to look after my dog. All right, cool. I'll look after your dog. You can look after someone's child. Like, hey, I have to run into work for a couple hours for a meeting. Can you watch the kids? You're like, yeah, I'll look after the kids. No problem. It's kind of like babysitting. Look after. Even plants. I remember I had a coworker who went to France for a month and she had a bunch of plants at her desk. This was pre-COVID. And she was like, Carley, can you look after my plants? And I was like, I will try my best. But every plant I've ever owned, I've murdered. So we don't know. I do have 2 children that have survived, but plants, I can't take care of. I can't look after them as good as I can look after kids, all right? I can look after kids quite well, I would say, but plants, not so much. But look after just means to take care of someone or something. So an example of this is, can you look after my dog while I'm on vacation? Can you look after my dog while I'm on vacation? Look after. So recap before we end the video today. Number 1, we had breakdown. Number 2, we had get along. And number 3, we have look after. Breakdown, get along, look after. Let's see if I can make one whole sentence using all 3 of these phrasal verbs in it. I get along with you well, so I need to ask you if you can look after my dog while I'm on vacation. I don't want her to have a breakdown if nobody is home. There you go. There you have it. I did all 3 in one sentence for you all. All right, so I hope you guys have a better understanding of phrasal verbs, at least a little bit, at least for these top 3. My hair looks crazy now. If you do, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next video.